They took apart an old HP computer, roughly 200 GBs. Uh, this computer was left out in somebody's front yard, about to be thrown away, so I decided to take it myself, and I decided to get it back online to see how well it functionalized, and it functions quite well actually. I tested it in my basement, connected it to its monitor, which is right there, its original monitor, and everything worked pretty much perfectly until I moved up here to my room and actually got it running for about less than maybe 10 minutes. Then it completely shut off on me. And I rebooted the entire system, turned it back on again, went back onto desktop, and it shut off again just like that by itself. So I did it a third time, and it happened again. I waited for about half an hour, and it stayed on for about a good half hour until it shut off again. So what I did was I decided, and obviously I knew it was very dusty inside, so I completely took the computer apart, the tower computer, and it was just completely dusty. Inside it was completely filled with dust. And so I just basically took it apart, and I cleaned it out of all the dust and all the excess stuff that really is not needed. Uh, this heatsink fan was completely cascaded with dust, and I just now took the vacuum and brushed it all out. It took me a good maybe 5 minutes to get all of it. So my diagnosis is that because of the cascading of dust that's covering the heatsink, didn't allow the flow of cool air to come in to replace the hot air that is being produced by the CPU, the central processing unit, to operate the computer. So there was no type of convection whatsoever. So by cleaning out the dust and all the particles that cover the heatsink, perhaps will allow the passage of more cooler air into the CPU area to cool it down so it won't overheat, which I think is the reason why the computer turned off. So I think that's why it didn't last for more than at least a half hour. So I have all the components here inside this bag, from the hard drive to the disk drive to its power system, and all the electrical wires and the fan, basically everything that's inherent into the computer as well. There's the CPU. This is a different type of motherboard that belongs to a laptop, no longer in functionality. But I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to put it back together, which will probably take a good maybe an hour or two. If you can take it apart, you can put it back together. This is not my first project. If I can just find the little itty-bitty screws that are on the floor here. But I'm going to see perhaps if it'll work, and if it doesn't, then I may have to replace the components, the heatsink, perhaps even the CPU, or just completely replace the whole thing altogether. But the thing about computers is that regardless the age, if you can keep it up to date, and if you can clean it, or at least maintain its cleanliness, perhaps it could last for a very long time. Obviously, more than what is intended for them to last at. Here's my table of different parts of RAM from different types of computers. Actually, each pair belongs to the same computer except for that one in the very middle. These two long ones here, the computer has about approximately 1.0 gigabytes of RAM, which stands for random access memory. And so I have 2 sticks here of RAM. Everything else is not inherent to all this here card is inherent to it. But so that's pretty much it on this old HP. It's very old, so I'm going to put it together and see where that gets me. So hopefully you guys can watch my second video, part 2, on my implementation and accomplished computer, and see if it'll work. Thank you.